Millennials, it is a Thursday night, could go and do, that's buy a house, or at least that's what the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, would like them to do. He announced yesterday out of National Cabinet, of course, that landlords will be restricted to only putting the rent up once a year, which is general practice across most of the country anyway. Great idea. And he's going to offer $3.5 billion to the states in order to encourage them to put up some 1.2 million new homes. That comes to an incentive around about $15,000 per home straight into the coffers of state governments. How they expect they're going to build 1.2 million new homes in the next few years when, of course, we've got building companies falling over at a rate of knots because the cost of building houses is going through the roof, I don't know. But at Labor's National Conference today, he furthered his plight to get people into houses by saying, our plan to give you money by buying part of your house with you so you can get into the market earlier is going to go ahead. Take a look.
What our government will do is step up and put in our share, opening the door of home ownership through the shared equity scheme to tens of thousands of hard-working people. We are the party of the great Australian dream.
Now, shared equity does literally mean the government owns the house with you. I don't think I'd want Albanese to be the co-owner of my home, it has to be said. And if Albo wants to do something to get people into houses, perhaps he could sell a few of his investment properties. He's got a property portfolio worth about $5 million. But this program, whereby you'll be able to access money through the government, which of course they're going to get a return on because the value of your property will continue to go up. Yep. So the government will get a return on investment out of it. But it's only going to be available to 40,000 people. Well, that's going to solve the housing crisis, isn't it? We've got a silver bullet.
And yet they're calling this the most significant reforms to housing policy in a generation. I mean, you just said the whole rental cap once a year thing. The states have already done it. So you're like, I'm not sure why you're tooting your horn about this. And who has rocks in their head? Who would be putting their hand up to co-own your home, which means you don't own it at all, do ya, with the government, the amount of control that gives you? I mean, we just talked about the fact that this is the government who says they're going to fine you if you post something on social media they don't like. What kind of control, under what circumstances would then they grab that home out from underneath you if you commit a certain fraud, etc. and so on? I mean, there's just way too much control there. And it also, I know that some people still consider Agenda 2030 a conspiracy theory, but it's not, because this points more and more toward government owning things, because this wouldn't be private property, would it? No.
And as for, legislating that landlords can only raise the rent once per year, I mean, all right, so that's the rights of tenants, but what about the rights of landlords who actually own the property? And this is another example of the government intervening in the market. If the government want to change the market, do something about immigration. That will immediately change the housing market, but they don't want to do that.
What a novel idea. Well, sorry, I'm just getting a phone call. Albanese, can I sell my house? Oh, no. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, is that what we're going to have to do? Call up Dr. Albo? And
he was probably calling from your spare room. You live there now.